vlog number 72. And like I always say, if you ever start doing something, do not wait for the perfect moment and just keep on doing it until it totally fucks up or totally breaks through. And with my vlogging journey, if you watch this or my vlog for the first time, I'm very transparent about my vlogging journey. I just start adding this work structure, this habit to my life. Either negative benefits, I don't see them, because at the moment, you know, at day 72, the work structure has so much sped up in a way that it simply doesn't bother me anymore. In the beginning, yes, I had to figure out a lot of stuff, especially when it's about the distribution. Now that we actually start dumping ridiculous amounts of videos, which I still haven't done, I haven't fired up the process, but you know, the scenarios which I create in make.com, they're already ready to go. I'm always looking around a little bit because I don't want to put people unnecessary on the camera. But that's a little bit about my vlogging journey, and I'm also going to share all the whole work structure, so people who want to get into the vlogging thing can do it way much faster than I did. And I'm sharing other strategies that you can do from your phone, so you can actually start creating digital assets like audiences. And I'm not going too deep into this now. I will share a lot of stuff in the Telegram group from next week's. The link is down below. If you don't follow my vlog journey and strategies and life hacks about avoiding the wrong people in your life, then help me out, subscribe. And I wanted to say something. No, because I would like to mention something like a sort of disclaimer. You know, my vlogs are for people who want to do different, to do more than the usual 9-to-5 thing. And I'm not going into the classical rant on people who are in 9-to-5. No, my vlogs are simply for people who want to get out of that they feel inside that there's something more to life. You know, people turn into, you know, like some sort of hamster in a hamster wheel, and they get bored, and then they turn into vices, you know. So that's something that you don't want. You want to keep your life interesting enough that you don't need vices, that you don't need distractions like holidays, television, entertainment for the masses, watching football. Not against people who are watching football and or sports in general, but entertainment is for me not something that I am occupied or occupy myself with. The thing is that I'm obsessed with is communication with people, providing strategies and work structures to optimize people, their lives. And not only this, I also share a lot of things from my perspective on experiences that I had in the past. And not only in the past, every day I'm meeting tons and tons and tons of people, so I'm extracting every day a lot of more knowledge like a sponge from people, because I am obsessed with it, and I like to talk about stuff and share those things, so you don't have to figure it out by yourself and fall into trial and error, which I have done a lot, because I didn't have any guidance when it's about the level of life that I'm living now, which is pretty much, you can never say 100% freedom, but I live a life of freedom because I'm doing everything from the phone. By the way, to get to this point, to do everything from the phone, took me more than 16 years in total. Of course, I had a lot of massive external life-changing events, including 2 times also going homeless, maybe even 3 times. Yeah, I think it was 3 times. Yeah, after 30 it happened 3 times. We're not getting into this now. One thing, if you watched yesterday's vlog, I think it was you know, at one point, see, I am enjoying life pretty much every single second, and I appreciate the ups and the downs. But you know, yesterday I was training in the Rakowski Stadium, and you know, I started talking with the guy who's taking care of the field, you know, and I'm gonna tell you something about it. You know, I was sitting with him, I was training, and then I started talking with him again. I talked with him once before, then we started drinking a little bit beer, then another guy jumps in, and you know what? The other guy jumps in because he sees somebody else talking, you know. People are like, you know, animals, you know, they gather in herds. And at one point, this guy that joined also, he was some kind of heart surgeon. No, he took biopsies from people, their intestines, to see if they have cancer or not. And you know what? Okay, and you just sit in a field, you know, if you ignore the world around you, you know, I would not end up yesterday drinking beer with the guy who takes care of the field. I would not talk with a guy who appears to be some kind of higher medical thing. And you know, he takes biopsies, parts of people, their bodies, and then checks if they have cancer. You know, I think that is a very, very important thing that of a job that the world actually does need. You know, so you know, you sit just on a normal field, and I think that's always very, 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 very also encouraging for me to do even more, you know, also to meet more people. I constantly meet people, but you know, the situation, most of the time a lot of people just ignore each other, and you know, this park is also constantly full with people, you know. Of course you cannot bother everybody, but in general, you know, I talk with so many people in the weirdest places, and sometimes gatherings, they just start to assemble when I'm talking with people. The same things are also happening a lot when I and I mentioned this as an example, when I sit with the homeless people and drink beer with them, you know, they gather, and it's not about that I bring beer to the table, or you know, this is the thing about the homeless people, and this is, you know, I mentioned this before, I will never put them on the camera or do those same videos and that you give money and then you show the world, oh, this is how good I am, because the intention of those people are totally different. They go for the views. I couldn't live with this. Anyway, the thing is, let's do a little bit of takeaway from this clip. Really start opening your eyes and start engaging with the world, right? Because everywhere there's a little adventure. You know, there's really everywhere there's a little adventure. I could have a whole adventure in this church. I could have a whole adventure probably in the tram. That happens also, you know. And sometimes, even if there would be negative, I learn constantly from it. Also now when I'm walking around, you know, I'm already looking for people to talk with also. But now, okay, let's close this one. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go first to the mineral water place. I also talk a lot with people over there, and yeah, that's what I want to do, the mineral water. And help me out, people, subscribe. Oh, let's hammer on this one also. Yesterday I talked about the outreach copy, trying to make a deal with a camera company so I get the camera which I really see as a challenge. And then when I get the camera, I want to give away this one to the next person who wants to start vlogging, because this GoPro Session 4 really actually fired up my vlogging journey, because with the phone I never felt the courage to actually start doing it, because the camera on the back, so you know, you make people feel uncomfortable, and I never want to make people feel uncomfortable. So this camera, I want to give it away. A lot of people who are having a more than comfort life would probably say, yeah, but that's a very old camera, I wouldn't do anything with it. But that's good for you. The thing is, there are a lot of people on this planet who don't get the opportunity, who don't have the comfort zone. Maybe they lost everything like I did a couple of times in my life, and you want to start doing things, but you don't have the financial resources and or the knowledge how to actually upscale it as fast as possible. You know, like I'm gonna share the make.com scenarios and a lot of other things to get people off the ground, maybe off rock bottom. Been there, done that multiple times. So yeah, let's close this clip. And freakishly enough, every time, yesterday also I even had 2 clips of 11 minutes and 59 seconds. You know, I talked about this, I mentioned this multiple times, that I somehow the first clip and or multiple clips in one video end up with 11 minutes and 59 seconds and or 12 minutes. I don't know what it is, and maybe that's my sweet spot on rattling non-stop. I don't believe this, because if I really go totally bananas, I could talk for, I think the longest talk that I did in this space is around 4 hours something. So, you know, what do you think? Should I start doing the YouTube lives and then more? And I think that's going to be very interesting to do, the YouTube lives, because then I would have even more input with real people, you know, with the chats. People can ask questions, I can drop stuff maybe. I don't know, I never did a YouTube live, so I don't know how it works, if I can drop links like you know, files. So for example, somebody asked for a make.com scenario on the spot, that I could share it. I don't know how it works, so maybe I should do it and just try it and fail the first 3 times and then get better and better and better. And that is about my vlogging journey. I just want to speak better, I want to, I don't know, I'd present myself better and judge myself very ridiculously, and like this you can, or I can, improve my engagement with the world more and more. And also, you know, when I do my meetings every single day, you know, I'm providing more and more value, more try to play around with my personal presentation, you know, my body language, and I try to improve everything constantly. And I'm also, at the end of the day, evaluate myself, and I go to all conversations, you know, what could I have done better, this maybe a little bit faster, this a little bit maybe slower. I think about people, their body language, how did they react, did they feel a little bit uncomfortable, did they feel a little bit shy, you know. I'm always looking at everything, and I'm also thinking, how can I improve this especially with new people. I always try to be as, you know, humble, but also to the point, and try to provide value and some sort of entertainment, maybe some guidance and life experience, etc, etc. I'm walking a little bit between the trees because people, they're coming into the park, and I want to go now to the water place. But in the meantime, I want to finish this talk, so also people start seeing the value of my videos. You know, I really try to reach a big audience. I need this big audience, over 1 million subscribers, and you could be one of those first 1 million. Oh my god. Anyway, if you want to be one of those, anyway, one of those first 1 million subscribers, then did you do it? You know, hit this bell. You know, when you look at me now from your mobile phone, just, I don't know which finger you use, and then you go, and then you do like subscribe and hit the notification bell. And oh yeah, when it's about the giveaway of this GoPro 4 thing, I will give away also the copy, because it's not only one message email. So I write an email sequence of 5 follow-ups, and messages. The shorter version is the messages sequence. So I am putting in the work, be out there. I build leverage, some sort of leverage points, which is in the first place the consistency of my vlogging, and I'm offering the watermarks and a product review on multiple platforms, but also a 1 month later review again. So but there are more points, and I'm gonna share this publicly, but also give away this camera, and the person who gets this camera can use to do the same what I did. So multiple days in a row recording, and then leveling up to the better camera, and then like this you build out your whole vlogging journey way much faster than I did or do. I'm still in it, I'm still working on it. So anyway, I'm gonna get to the water place itself. And now walking in Pavlovo. I lived in this neighborhood for 8 months, and I had a thought because every time when I say the word thought, I have to pronounce it probably better, because when it's the subtitles, I don't use for the long form anymore. I don't generate the subtitles anymore. You can just turn it on with, I don't know what this CC thing, I think it says under the video. But the thing is, every time when I say the word thought, then it says fart. But I think we got rid of this now. But anyway, I had a thought, not a fart. And as an old fart, this time it's fart, as an old fart as me at 46. And when I speak, I don't speak with a lot of people from the past anymore, only the good ones, and there are actually, I can count them, and it's only from one country, so that is very back in the days. But once in a while I just squeeze a little eye, especially when I'm drinking a little bit, and I think, what the hell, why not? Sober, I would not talk with them. Simply, they don't bring value to the table. And this is the thing, when people get older, and when I really start noticing when people get really older fast, and they're bored and their life is so boring, they start constantly talking about, do you remember this situation? Do you remember this person? Many times I remember even the tiniest sentences in most conversations that I had with many people, so I do. But those people are so far away, not only physical, but so far away from my state of mind and my reality now, that is, for me, that is not even worth to even think about, and also not think back towards them. Not to look down on them, but they're very, very, very out of connection with reality, which I simply want to avoid. I want to avoid, when people get close to me, when I know they keep their word, they keep appointments there on time, and then you're already going somewhere. But in the end, it's about longevity, right? And there are a lot of people that are now, there is pattern. Like I said yesterday, people are habit animals, bad or good. That is the judgment for yourself. But some people, they show once in a while a bad habit. And I know one guy for a long time, but his lying starts popping up every 1.5 years. So he doesn't even notice it, because his life is so boring that he constantly probably comes up the whole day with things to make things interesting. But also, and this is a very red flag for me, that he turns the course of past events into something that his responsibility is not over there. His his anticipation in that specific event was not even there. And this is something to make themselves feel good. And I think people who make themselves look good, they are very living a very, 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 very boring life. Because I mentioned this in previous vlogs, if you make up stories, lie and steal, you're closing so much opportunities of your life, you know, you cannot imagine. I don't believe that there is nothing and nobody who benefits from those things that I mentioned, you know, lying, denying and changing past events, so, you know, just to make yourself look better. Because once you start doing this, there's also no turning back. I noticed this, and they will do it again and again. But only people like me, we notice this, because I remember every single word what a normal person would say, you know, because I'm doing this for a living. I'm doing this for a living every single day, the past decades, you know. I'm observing people, I'm absorbing their characteristics, I look at their fingers, I look everything. And it's not from a judgmental perspective, it's more or less, you know, what can I learn? You know, what are the characteristics? What are the physical things that I want to, you know, copy, or that I want to work on? You know, so now I'm more working on my shoulders to get a little bit this part over here, because I saw this on one person. I think now I want to have a little bit more shoulders, but that's why I'm doing the pike and the push-up, so I keep the long, let's say I'm 1.74 m, but at least I keep the long aesthetic look, you know, because like I said, I'm a short guy, 174. You know, if I go to the gym, start lifting heavy, you know, eating all kind of stuff that makes me grow for a short amount of time, then I start to look like a little turd, you know, a rolling turd that you roll down the hill easily. So I don't want this. So I'm doing, and then I adapt, you know, I'm absorbing other people, their features that I would like to have, and especially about characteristics. And not only this, when I see people interacting, I look at them, how do they move, especially when they entertain people. And these days there are not a lot of people who entertain other people. Okay, for business purposes we understand what kind of direction we go with this, but let's say normal people who sit with each other, a lot of people play with their phone. Anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, the conclusion of this clip. So for example, if you're an old fart like me, 46 years young, then listen to the people. Listen, do they constantly repeat past events? Well, when they start mentioning past events, then all the things will follow. People who don't do things on a regular basis, you know, keep their mind fresh, challenging themselves, need to refer to, let's say, more exciting events from the past. And if not, make them a little bit different than they were. But that's another story, we're not getting into this again, that's a big red flag. But, you know, when those people around you, and I also stop talking with those people simply for one reason. I don't want to listen to people who are already feeling old. I'm talking with I got a lot of older bonds. You know, they're over 60. One is even over 70. But they never talk about all past things. They always talk about how exciting life is, how this, and you know, that is what I like to hear. And if you know, listen to the people that constantly talk about past events, where do you live? You know, where do you live? You still live in the past? You live in the now or live in the future? And especially when you constantly, there's one guy, he constantly talks about, oh, do you remember how nuts he was? You know, I don't want to hear this. I really don't want to hear. There are a lot of crazy people. Yes, there are a lot of people who acted like lunatics. including myself, although I was always keep moving forward. But the thing is, I surrounded myself with the wrong people that held me really back. Do I blame it on the people? No. I'm there to blame for that. I kept them around, and now I relentlessly get rid of people who influence my course, my path to whatever I want. And I mentioned this in the previous videos. I'm over here on this planet till the end of days. I'm trying to serve as much as I can, value, entertainment, and in the meantime my own needs are on a second place, because yeah, it's simply like this, because I don't have family or anything like this that would give a rat's ass. And you know, if I would die, I would just crawl into the fucking hill on the rock. One other person said, you know, why don't you chain yourself to a tree? Yeah, I think that's weird. But anyway, not the thought that he just suggested it, but the thought me hanging on a tree. That would look very cowardly. The thing is, I would just, you know, like a cat, when they're sick, they crawl under a rock and you will never see them again. And you know what? That's life, you know. I also talked with one guy. He had a big family, he has a child, but you know, in the end he actually indicates that he does want to cheat on his wife, you know. And then I think, and I know from a lot of men, they would cheat instantly, especially if they would have the access that I could provide them to, let's say, a little bit more abundance when it's about the opposite sex. That counts for both sexes, by the way. So, you know, a lot of people also don't have this control, this urge, you know, and then they produce children. What kind of, you know, yeah, characteristics or authenticity would you give them along their start in their life, you know? You know, I think that's weird. But anyway, red flag, keep away, stay away, or simply close your ears a little bit for people who just constantly talk about past events, complain, but that's for another thing, but especially constantly mentioning past events without actually giving the feedback about what they learned about it, you know. That's another part. You know, everything has levels in life, right? And if you're only mentioning past events because it's so bad, but in my vlogs, I can already say vlogs because this is number 72, I think. You know, I mentioned those experiences and what I would have done different, but also I mentioned the red flags that popped up before the event happened, so you guys, the watcher, can start preventing heartbreak, money loss, time loss. Time loss is something, you know, I don't regret anything in my life, but if I would have, let's say, a little bit more guidance, yeah, then I would have saved a lot of time. But there's another side of the coin. I wouldn't have probably the urge to start spreading around, like on the internet, my quote-unquote value that can help people, or the few people, a few million people. Anyway, let's close the clip because I'm reaching now to the busier places, and I'm now over here in Porvo. Ciao.